All right, we're back live from the Travelers on the Travelers radio deck, brought to you by Big Y. We're very blessed. Been doing this for 9 years, brought to you by Big Y. Oh, man. It's always a little
just
bug.
you, though,
But, dude,
nobody
it's
else.
always a little bug that, like, wants to go up underneath my glasses
Yeah.
and get in my eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
It just
It's
drives
the same
me
one
crazy.
from yesterday.
It is.
Same
I
guy.
think people think I have, like, some kind of DTs. Is that what they call it when you have you're getting off of alcohol?
No, I was thinking more like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. You're just so
I'm not
dirty that
Pigpen.
got bugs.
Nobody tries to be cleaner than me. Anyway, all right. So tell me about the whole Nationals blow up.
So Mackenzie Gore, one of my fave pitchers,
Right.
covered this kid in high school. He was a star coming up from the Padres. Gets moved over to the Nationals after they unloaded everybody, and then he was kind of a cheap option. Has a ball hit to center field. The center fielder kind of lollygags on it. Gosh, I don't know the center fielder's name off the top of my head. I should have brought it up during the break. Getting a little scuffle, who was it, Papelbon against Harper? Not like that situation. Anybody's grabbing each other. But it was definitely a heated exchange. Coach Dave Martinez said, listen, it was heated. We talked about it, got over it. We're moving on. I actually just like to see it from the Nationals. I love this kid personally. I think the world of Mackenzie Gore. But just in a realm of Major League Baseball, this team has been left for dead. And for these guys that aren't super duper millionaires, that don't know where they're going to be
probably
going
20 of
in
these
2
guys
months.
on that team are rookies.
So for them to show that kind of fight, I'd love to see it, man. I thought it was really good.
Listen, Davey Martinez is not going to let them quit. Davey was my former teammate, adversary. When he was on the Expos, he and I had a huge blow-up because I had a 3-0 count on him. This is how we became friends later on because I explained to him why I was ticked at him. So a 3-0 count, and I pumped like 3 98-mile-an-hour fastballs right down Broadway. He takes all 3. And so obviously I'm pumped up like Garrett Cole last night. And I'm like, swing the effing bat, mother effer, blah, blah. He just he stopped. He looked at me like, dude, what are you, crazy?
Yes.
So then, like, 2 years later, we're teammates.
That's wonderful.
And so our lockers are next to each other. Norm's there, and Norm's,
probably saying, hey, remember that time?
Of course, Norm. So Norm's like, hey, you remember that time when Dibble was calling you out and you didn't do anything? And basically putting him on the spot. So Davey's like, what do you want me to do? Go out and beat him to death with a bat? I'm not going to fight him. He's twice as big as me. So now we get into it. I'm like, listen, it was business to me. It was all. This is what I don't think a lot of guys got about me. It was business. My business was to beat you.
Right.
We were supposed to win. We're supposed to win championships. And anything that it falls short of that, to me, I feel. I'm not going to say failure. I don't like that word failure. But I wasn't doing the job. And I take that personally. And I think what Davey's gotten through to these guys, listen, you're in the major leagues just like these other guys. Just like the Pirates started strong and they're starting to fade, maybe it's because they need maybe a little bit more veteran leadership, or maybe they just need a few more breaks. Whatever it is, things aren't going their way right now. So it's up and down all the time. And you have to try to weather those down times. And so right now, okay, the Nats are down. These guys won the World Series a few years ago. So if you're Davey Martinez, you're basically saying to these guys, listen, you guys, you've got the pedigree, you're major leaguers. There's no reason why you can't go out there and out-hustle and outplay these guys. Yes, they may have a little bit more experience, or maybe they have a couple, better thoroughbreds in the middle of their lineup. But that doesn't mean you 26 guys don't put your uniforms on the exact same way they do. And I think a lot of, look at the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
They were awful for a few years. Whatever Bruce Bochy has done to turn that culture around in there is probably just positive reinforcement. Guys, most of you guys in here are probably either all-stars or close enough to be all-stars. You're getting a huge amount of money, so the only thing you should be worried about is playing baseball.
Exactly, and that's why I love the exchange. Honestly, again, it's because I know this kid, and to me, he's a 17-year-old that is playing amongst grown men. It's Victor Robles, by the way, that's in center field. And I agree
and
with
Victor's a good player, too.
He's better than what the effort was. And I think that
Absolutely.
this exchange, if it doesn't happen and goes unsaid, then the Nationals are going to be a crappy team for the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
And for Mackenzie to actually have the guts to say something to a guy like a Victor Robles and a team that he hasn't been a part of for that long, he wants outs, man. He's trying to get outs just no matter how they come. And It didn't have to be an all-out dive to make that play, but it did look like Robles was helping his friend out and giving him a single.
Listen, pitchers are hot. They run like boiling over. And Jose Rijo and Chris Sabo had a fight in the dugout. And honestly, it was such a miscommunication between the two of them.
Yeah.
Jose was trying to pump up the dugout because he was pitching great. We were losing in San Francisco again, which was always frustrating. And so he wasn't barking at anybody in particular. And Sabo, because Chris had just struck out the inning before, thought he was directing that at him. So they start punching each other, and it's like before you even know what's going on, and you're kind of half laughing because you're in disbelief that it escalates that quickly. Then it escalated after the game because now Lou's embarrassed and he's humiliated, and that's exactly the way the locker room confrontation started all over again. Honestly, we went on a tear after that.
Yeah,
it's a bonding experience. It's a we have to. It's a reset. I tell my pitchers this all the time. You got to reset your mind. Last inning was last inning. Last batter was last batter. Now you're on to the next guy. You walk a guy, you're on to the next guy. You got one out. There's a guy on first. You're one ball away from getting out of this inning. You can't be down on yourself because once you start letting those negative things creep in, now the guy hits a 2-run shot off of you, which is exactly what happened in this loss with the Nationals. So when errors happen, they make 9 out of 10 times they make the play.
Yeah.
So I try to reinforce this even at 14U baseball. Listen, these guys blow a play, they might make 5 plays in a row for you. So don't get down on them for the one bad play. If you're not going to cheer them on every time they make a great play, it's got to be a happy medium. And so I just think, listen, so one of the reasons I wanted to bring Bochy up is they lost the game because of a bad call. And what good managers do is like, listen, let's move on. Let's not dwell on that negative, and let's not dwell on that we didn't get the call. Let's move on because we're having a great, successful campaign so far. Why are you going to let that hold you up?
Right.
So a guy who's won multiple world championships is a Hall of Fame manager when he retires. Bruce Bochy's like, guys, that was yesterday. This is today. We got a job to do in tonight's game.
Everything's going right for this team. At St. Louis, no problem. At Kansas City, sweep. At Houston, sweep. Now they're back at home against the Rockies. 1, 2, 3, no problem. 11 straight wins for the Cincinnati Reds. The young Reds, minus Joey Votto. The young
I would
Reds.
call them the running Reds.
The running Reds.
Instead of the running Rebs, it's the running Reds.
They steal a lot of bases.
And Dela Cruz is one of the fastest guys in the big leagues, and it's making all of these guys do more, play harder, be more aggressive. And David Bell has got to be sitting back loving this because the last couple of years have been absolutely having a nightmare while you're awake. And so, like a daymare.
A daymare.
A daymare. And so, to be 40-35, now you're a game ahead of the Brewers after they lost. I love these Cincinnati Reds. It's not just a winning streak. It's how they've gone about their business when they were down. That you didn't hear a lot of complaints. There were no fans. There was no support. And David Bell was not one of those guys that was losing it. And honestly, they've been playing better ever since he lost it a few games in a row.
There you go.
The manager lost his mind a little bit. It kind of galvanized the team. And now they're off, and they've won 11 in a row. And everything, and Votto said this really well, everything's better when you're winning.
For sure.
The food tastes better. The beer tastes better. Your wife looks prettier. That kind of stuff. It's all when you're winning, everything's better.
Well, they'll see the Atlanta Braves next, so that's going to be a pretty good test there
That's
in
a
the
test.
National League.
It's like a 5-foot putt in golf. It's a tester.
This Jake Fraley's already got 12 bags. Jonathan India's stole a couple as well. He's got 12. And your guy De La Cruz already in a short time has got 8 stolen bases.
That's insane. He's been there a week. I think I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not. Now you're gonna make me look this up. If he's got 8 stolen bases in 10 games, I think that's impressive. Let me see.
Oh, sorry, 6. I'm reading my.
It's
6.
okay.
Still,
that's all right.
7 games, 6 stolen bases. Major League Baseball. I'll take that. Keeps that up. Watch out, Ricky. Watch out, Ricky. I'm waiting for you because I got another player.
But he's the new breed of baseball player. We got guys.
Glad.
All right, he's played 14 games, so he's got 6 bags. But he's hitting 321. And he's just flying around the bases and stuff like that, making great catches in the field. And it's insane to see a 6'5" third baseman. Reminds me of your guy, Chris Bryant, years ago.
Yeah,
6'6" third baseman. What? I love it. I love it because then, and when you're teaching young kids, and I have all shapes and sizes, and I have some kids that are a little bit overweight and out of shape on my team, but you know what? That's who they are.
There's a place for that.
There's a place for, and I'll stick them at third. I'll even stick them in the outfield and center field. I don't care. You should be here to have fun, but you also need to learn every position. I'm not going to just be like, oh, I'm a little bit bigger than everybody. Tommy's a little bit bigger. I'm going to stick him at first base. I think that's disrespectful. To me, you're going to pitch,
agree.
you're going to catch, you're going to play every position. But my biggest thing, Benny, if I ask you to play a position, you better never say no.
Right.
Because now I'll sit you on the bench. So if a coach tells you, hey, do you play this position? Absolutely. Even if you've never played it before. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to play it as great as I could possibly play it.
One guy I was happy for last night, coming from New York, going to Baltimore, and was the hero against the Tampa Bay Rays. Oh, look. We're getting flashed by some of our male listeners. Sorry, kind of messed my focus
Messed your
up.
train of thought. Hit one of the sticks, Aaron Hicks.
Thank you, Aaron Hicks. That's who I was
That get you
talking
back
about
on
before
track?
I got flashed right there. Aaron Hicks hits one to the sticks, came up with some big-time at-bats there last night. We always talk about guys leaving the big market of New York and having success later. Aaron Hicks might be one of them, man. Coming at the right time for Baltimore, still filling in the hole for Cedric Mullins as he's out. This team's still competing, dude. Like, I don't think you should sell the Baltimore Orioles for not being a playoff team and not actually contending. Like, contending for it all? Maybe.
Hit 321 with Baltimore in 18 games right now with 3 home runs, 10 driven in. But the 424 I like because that's less strikeouts. That's taking the walks when you're giving them. But he's in a clubhouse now where you're wanted. And I'm not saying he wasn't wanted with the Yankees. What I mean is it's a younger group. Maybe they're invigorating him and rejuvenating him. But he's teaching some of these young guys how to prepare and how they did it the Yankee way. And that's kind of some of the stuff, he's more of a mentor to some of these guys than he was with the Yankees. Honestly, I still think the Yankees, one of the biggest problems with them, and even the Mets, is that it's more businesslike. We've all, in my mind, I always feel like these guys are showing up with a briefcase, and the other guys, they're showing up with their bat bags and stuff like that. They're ready to play. They're still like almost in college. And it's like Baltimore's like that to me. The Marlins are like that to me. The Braves, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got more of those Latino players that have come from probably nothing. You gave them $120 million, so now the last thing they'll ever have to worry about in the next couple of generations in their family is money. And now all they got to do is play baseball? Those guys are tickled to death.
Yeah.
This is a great that's why they're always so happy. Here, man, a lot of entitled guys in this country.
I would like to think that getting out of New York City, and it's just another.
What are you, Snake Plissken?
Well,
Escape
yeah,
from New
a little
York.
bit, yeah. Sonny
No,
Gray,
they
I think
kicked
of all
him
the
out
time.
of New York. They said take
well,
the
the
rest
same with
of your
Gary
money.
Sanchez, the same with a
and
lot
go.
of these guys.
Gary needed to go, though. Gary was not getting the job done.
But
and
I just think
it was time.
It's hard to get over back into the good graces of the jungle, back in the good graces of the Yankee fan. I think every time Aaron Hicks came up to the plate when he was wearing pinstripes this year in 2023, it was like everyone in the ballpark. Here we go, Aaron Hicks.
And then he hit a soft ground ball to the second baseman. It was
another strikeout. And soon, dude, they're not going to lay up on that guy. In Baltimore, I don't even know if they knew who Aaron Hicks was before he got to Baltimore. No offense, Orioles fans. But honestly, I think it is a different vibe. I would like to think that, but I also would like to think that the Yankees are so deep into analytics, man, that they don't let their guys just play ball. And I would like to think that there's something about that as well of Aaron Hicks' recent success. Let's see if he keeps it up, though. It's early for him.
Did you tell everybody that the Daily Pickle is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka?
Dude, they've got one of the best lounges for general admission, the Still House Lounge over there on 18. Check them out. It's air-conditioned, plus they got some of the best cocktails.
Distilled 6 times, everybody. It goes down smooth.
Super smooth.
For me, with a little OJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka. There you go.
Oh, love it. All right, we'll come back. Chris Barrett, he is a nutritionist and a dietitian at the Bone and Joint Institute. You don't want to miss this segment because we talked to him and he talked about kids, nutrition, what they should be putting in their bodies as they're going through puberty. I thought it was one of the most fascinating interviews we've ever done with Chris and the people from Bone and Joint. So great interview coming up next on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. John, Kurt, Kurt's back in the studio trying to keep us on the air. We'll be right back from the Travelers Radio deck, brought to you by Big Y.